Live on TWB. How you doing, everybody? It's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce. Welcome to today's live show for, what is it, Thursday? What day is it today? Does anybody know what day it is? Thursday, May the 21st, 2020. Yeah, we're just losing track of time here, people. We're so locked in. We're wondering what's going on out there. Welcome all to the TWB News Update Show, Cruise News Update, and Trivia. I got trivia for you today. We're doing both. I just tried to do a notification to everybody, let everyone know that I was going to be live through Facebook, but it didn't work. Facebook would not let me upload a message. So sorry to say, folks, those of you who are counting on a message from me through Facebook, it's not happening. I can't do it. I don't know why, but Scott Weber's here and Deborah's here. That's all I need. I got two folks saying hi to me. If you're watching me wherever you are in the world, and I know you're out there around the world, say hi, Bruce. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me what kind of weather you have. Is it warm where you are? Is it cold? What kind of temperature you got where you guys are? Let me know how it's going. Say hi to TWB here. Love to get greetings from all of you from around the planet. And it's nice to see how many of you are out there watching Traveling with Bruce. It's absolutely fantastic. I now have 38, 49. They're piling in. Welcome all to Traveling with Bruce here out of Creston, British Columbia, where it's a very cloudy, overcast day. We're supposed to get rain for the next several days, so it's not all that pretty. Here they come. I got Deborah, Scott, Rich, Quality by Design, Darren, Robert, Peter, Heckema, Rubens, always watching, Rob Slevin, David. Guys, how are all of you doing? Thank you for piling in and saying hi to me, letting me know that I'm not alone. Jeremy's here. Welcome, Jeremy. Beverly Armstrong, Liam, Felicia, Amit. Guys, how are you guys? Monique, Nancy, Kirk Brunson. Buddy, how you doing, pal? Nancy Warner, Benny. Who else is here? Kay, JRS, that's Jan. Linda's here. Yeah. Alex, as I said, I think already. Welcome all. Keith Gates is here. Susan's here. Who else is here? Say hi to me, guys. 85 of you now. Tim Bowman, throw the thumbs up in there while you can. If you're doing it at the same time, hit the show with a thumbs up and let's get it going. Let the world out there know we're live. We're out there. We're got cruise news and we're doing trivia today. Welcome all to the Thursday afternoon chat here in TWB land out of Creston, British Columbia. So nice to have you here. So nice to see all these names just popping up. Tell me, where are you watching me from? There's Daryl, Mark, Alex, Sarah, Story, Scott Weber, of course, Cody, Arthur Troyer, Manuel, Cake Daddy Pruitt, David Guido, Rick Killen. You're all here. You're all coming in and you're all saying hi. I love it. Throw me some thumbs ups and tell me how I'm doing on those. Fantastico. News today in the cruise world. There's a bunch of it. The big news for me was I saw Richard Fain today on television. He was interviewed live today, and I've got some reporting from that for you. So I will. Those of you who missed that interview, I'll give you the skinny on that. Janine is here. Quintel Burnett is here. Paul. Liam, who else is here? Peter Francis is here. Ben H. Mark Logston, Yellow, Cynthia, Dutch, Linda, and Smith and Sellers. Both Lindas are here. Stella, Sean, Rick, and Darren. Guys, thank you for being here, popping in to say hi to me. I love it. We're now at almost 100, over 100 viewers now on the show. Thank you, and throw the thumbs ups our way. That would be wonderful, and we'll get we'll get as many folks in here as possible to get the news of the day. First bit of news I'll talk about is I read this last night. I believe it was after my last show. It came out of Germany. The story is that the TUI Group. TUI Group, big outfit, big travel outfit. They own the Mein Schiff cruise ships. They own and operate those. They work with other entities. They have hotels and they have the TUI airline. Huge company, going to lay off, I think, 8,000 employees very shortly. Unfortunately, that's one of the sad pieces of news, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. They reported that they are working with health authorities in Germany and elsewhere in Europe to try to get ships sailing for the summer. They want to get back in business. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a way to come up with a formula that'll work with health authorities, ports, you name it. And the latest proposal or scheming that they're up to and what they're talking about and what they're trying to get through regulators. And I mention this because this has a lot to do with the USA, because what happens there may well happen in, out of Miami or out of Los Angeles. The story goes that the folks at TUI are proposing that a maximum of 30 to 33% of a ship's occupancy would be used this summer for cruises. They're talking about cruises out of Hamburg, Germany, as an example. But they're now talking about 2 to 4 day cruises. That's all they're talking about, 2 to 4 days. And they're also talking about the possibility of no stops, no ports. So going from Hamburg out to the North Sea, sailing around in the waters, and coming back to Hamburg after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. That's it. That's the cruise. That's it. It gives people a sailing. It gets them out into the water. They get to enjoy the wonderful food, the amenities, but only 1/3 capacity at the maximum. So a 3,000 passenger ship would hold only 1,000 passengers. That's what they're saying. I'm kind of curious about that because what would that be the North American way? Would that be the way out of the United States if it happens at all this summer, this year at all? And on that front, I will talk to you about Royal Caribbean. The president of Royal Caribbean was interviewed today on CNBC, the business channel, and you could tell that Mr. Fain needs a haircut. I need a haircut. He needs a haircut. Not that I've got a lot to worry about up here, but he had a lot off the side here. I've been trying to clip some myself. It's pretty bad. I don't dare show you. Anyway, he needs a haircut, and he says hello to all of his followers and everything else. But they went over a number of topics, and they were talking about future of the cruise line and what he sees happening and what could happen. And the CNBC people, they know that the company just raised $3 billion a couple of weeks ago. They're going to raise, I know, and if you've been watching me now, they're going to raise another 2 or 3 billion in the next few weeks, more than likely, to economically, stick around and survive. They talked about repatriating crew members. This continues on, as you folks know who watch me nonstop. This here. Here's a picture of cruise ships off Manila in the Philippines waiting to offload passengers. That's from a few days ago, that photo. And here's a photo from space, or I would say it's outer space. Cruise ships in the Manila harbor, 24 of them. And the rumor is that there are as many as 2,000 per ship or more waiting to get off. So we're talking 40, 50,000 crew members constantly in Manila harbor. More ships are coming in. These aren't the only ones. There are other ships on the way to the Philippines to get crew members home. Here's a shot here of the Manila harbor. Anyway, Richard Fain was talking today about how he has ships in this area. They're trying to get Filipino crew members home. They're trying to get crew members home everywhere. Thank you, Scott Weber, for that sticker. Fantastic. But there are other nationalities being offloaded as well. I've been talking to you about Jamaica. I've been reading now about Indonesian crew. I just read about half an hour ago, a TUI ship, one of the mine ships, landed in Indonesia near Bali, and they offloaded another 283 German nationals from Germany. Crew members working for TUI, and they are being flown to Germany on a charter flight being arranged by TUI, the airline. And Indonesia has allowed the Germans, after double testing them, not just a test, but a double test, to make sure that they are negative, to get off the ship, get on a bus, get right to the airport, get on a plane, get out of town. And they're flying back to Germany, to Hamburg. Apparently, 1,700 Germans have now been repatriated just through Indonesia. So that's an interesting a stat I find absolutely fascinating. By the way, want to just let you know, thank you all of you out there who are subscribing to my channel. You see that right up there? See how I did that? I changed that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for thumbs ups. Thank you. Thank you for joining my Facebook group page, Traveling with Bruce, spelled with two L's right here. If you want to join the party, if you want to join us between my shows, head here to Facebook, the Facebook group page. Also, those of you who are signing up for Instagram updates, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And also, those of you out there who are going to the RedBubble store, I've been getting folks asking me, how do I get one of those COVID masks you have? How do I get your stuff, Bruce? You've got all these items with logos on it. There's a tote bag. You got tote bags with all kinds of logos on it. You've got these TWB COVID masks like this, or like this, or like this, all these different logos. This logo here is the logo that's on my T-shirt. So if you don't want it on a COVID mask, you can get it on a shirt. You can get this on a coffee mug. You can get this on anything. How do I do it? Well, there is a link down below here under my description, or on any video I've ever uploaded in the past, with the descriptions down below. Now, I will clarify, I think in the rush to get on the air, I may have forgotten to put the link down below on this particular telecast. So if you take a look at any of my videos, you'll find the links down below where these links are, especially for RedBubble right up here. And what else was I going to say? A couple of folks are asking me about getting their hands on one of these things over here. One of these iPhone amplifiers, the cell phone amplifier that I have here, made of solid wood right here, handmade in Creston by Marshall Thompson. I think I got 2 left, and these are available, at least the current batch. I have 2 left. If you want one of these babies, you have to make a donation to my channel through my PayPal donate button, which you can find again on links down below my videos, or on my homepage. You'll find there's a bunch of tags. One of them says videos, one of them says community, one of them is an about tab. It just go right to the far right, and you'll click on that, and there are links there to RedBubble, to PayPal, to Patreon, and a number of other areas. Anyway, head to PayPal, excuse me, click on there, and you can then make a donation of $50 American to my channel. That includes shipping and handling for this unit to you, and include your name and address in a message to me inside that donation, and that's where I'll send it. Okay. Thank you guys for all of that. Really appreciate that you're here. So anyway, Richard Fain is talking now about repatriating crew. Now, the other news that Richard Fain was talking about was when will cruising start? Because the CNBC reporter is asking the standard questions that anyone on the street would ask this guy. When are you going to start cruising again? And he said, we've been indicating as of a few days ago that we would start cruising August the 1st. However, that is not a firm date cut in stone, and that is the news I want to let you in on here. There are no guarantees that they're going to start cruising August the 1st. This is from Richard Fain himself. He has said that based on what we know and where we're at, and as hopeful as we are, we're crossing our fingers. We're waiting for ports to tell us whether we can bring ships with passengers there, like the Bahamas, St. Kitts, Grenada, Dominican Republic, and on it goes. And the other news was, the other side of it was, can they get? Thank you again, Scott Weber, for that super sticker, by the way. Can Royal Caribbean and can the CDC work out an arrangement that is satisfactory to both sides and to the paying public? That's you people out there, that will satisfy you to have the confidence to take a cruise. This is all up in the air. He's admitting all this. He's acknowledging this, and I think he's trying to be realistic and saying, look, we want to cruise now. We really do. But we know we can't cruise now. We cannot cruise now. We can't go anywhere. We can't take you anywhere. We can't get you to the country you want to get to. We can't pick you up right now in St. Kitts. We can't go down to the Barbados and pick you up in Bridgetown. They're shut down too. We can't go to Cozumel and visit Cozumel today. We can't go to we can't go in and out of Galveston. We can't get in and out of New York City. We're shut down. And worldwide, we're shut down right now. And so he's being realistic and being upfront about it. But he is doing, what these cruise lines are doing is what they're all doing is they're kind of pulling the cancellation string every month or so. They tell us, well, we're not cruising until May. Oh, we're not cruising until June. Oh, we're not cruising until July. Well, now we're not cruising until August 1. And folks, it's going longer than that. We're not going to be back. We're not cruising August 1. Those of you out there who have got cruises for August and September, and you're hoping that it'll happen, I have disappointing news for you from my personal gut feel as to what I think is happening. There will not be any cruising. The British Columbia government here, where I am in British Columbia, Canada, which is essential for any cruises to Alaska, they have out and out said it. There will be no cruise ships allowed into any British Columbia port this year, all of 2020. So you throw Alaska out the window. Any of you out there who are telling me, Bruce, I haven't been given the email yet that's canceling my cruise. I'm telling you, my September cruise is happening. I'm telling you, it's not happening. You're not going anywhere. Those Alaska cruises are done for. Some cruise lines have already canceled out and have announced it. Others have yet not done that. They should be doing it because there will be no cruising through British Columbia, any ports here. And if you want to go from Seattle to Alaska and back, you've got to stop in British Columbia under the so-called Jones Act. You have to stop in a second country, and that's Canada. Canada shut down. Now, the federal government of Canada officially, you want to get picky, they still say July 1 is the date for sailings to be suspended until July 1. They have to officially make an announcement as the government of Canada for the country of Canada, and they will. Why they haven't done it now yet, I don't know. Politics, maybe they don't want to upset a certain occupant in a certain home in downtown Washington, D.C. They don't want to make anyone angry. So they're not saying anything, but the province of British Columbia, for anyone that's listening, there ain't going to be no cruises coming through BC, okay? That's out. Whatever the government of Canada wants to do, whatever the government of Canada wants to do is up. It's fine with them. But as far as the government of British Columbia and the cities of Vancouver and Victoria and Nanaimo and Prince Rupert, don't even bother coming here. So the cruise lines, no, there are no sailings. None. There are no sailings to Alaska. Yeah, and the Maritimes, the mayor of Halifax today, that's in Halifax, Nova Scotia, he said, we're not going to have any cruise ships this year. No, we don't anticipate a single cruise ship coming here this year. They've been getting the cancellation notices because cruise lines have to reserve dock space for their ships. They reserve it, and then they pay the city for it. Well, they're not going to pay for something they're not going to use. And if they know they're not going to use it in August, they're telling the city now, hey, we don't need that dock space that we had reserved. There's so many days that if you don't cancel your reservation soon enough, just like with a cruise, you lose your deposit. You have to still pay for the docking space, even though you're not using it because you left it too long. The cruise lines have been telling these cities quietly, we're not coming. We're not saying it publicly, but we're telling you, between us here at head office where our cruise line is and you in Halifax, we're not coming. And Halifax is going, they're not coming. We're not hiring all kinds of students this year. We're not hiring all kinds of people to greet the passengers. We're telling all our businesses, that lease space from us. There's a lot of small businesses, tiny businesses that lease areas are in the dock area where they set up little wagons or kiosks and stuff. They're not renting them out. There will be no there will be no cruises into Canada this year. So there's a whole bunch of cruises that are not happening. I can tell you that from this end up here. In the Cayman Islands, September 1 is the earliest date that cruise ships could visit, and that is subject to review, and there is a huge push to cancel cruises for the rest of the year to into Grand Cayman. So that would mean January 2021 at the earliest for Cayman Islands to receive any ships. Jamaica right now is having all kinds of issues and going through all kinds of logistical hoops to handle the repatriation of 1,044 of their own countrymen back to Jamaica, men and women from the Adventure of the Seas. This is almost overwhelming Jamaica now. Can you imagine Jamaica having 2 Oasis-class ships coming into Falmouth in one day, and then having another 1 or 2 ships coming over to Ocho Rios with another 7,000-8,000 passengers? There's 17,000 passengers on Jamaican soil, and they can't handle 1,000 of their own countrymen. They're bringing off the ship 200 at a time after testing. No one is getting on the island of Jamaica unless you've been tested by Jamaican authorities. So there'll be no cruising into Jamaica. Not a chance. Cheers from TWB, by the way, folks. I hope you're having a good afternoon today, and thank you for joining me. Trivia is coming up in a few minutes. Those of you who are looking for trivia, I'm quite excited about that. I got some questions ready to roll. Anyway, this whole thing with the shutdown continues. Richard Fain was very honest on the air today. Very, it was almost like you were having a cup of coffee with the guy and being able just to ask him whatever. He was not trying to sugarcoat this. He is talking about starting cruising when it's safe to do so. He's talking about. He is not shy talking about 30% or 50% occupancy levels on cruise ships, which of course blows everything out of the water. Folks, you got to understand where I'm coming from. There are a lot of you out there who are sending me messages, and you're asking me all the time, will my November cruise happen? Will my March cruise in 2021 happen? And so on. I got to tell you this. If no other YouTuber is telling you this, I'm going to tell you this, all right? It is entirely possible that there will be cruising in 2021. It's possible. I personally don't think so deep inside, but it's possible. But even if it's possible, even if it happens, say a 1-week cruise you've booked for the Caribbean starting February 2021 out of Miami maybe. The problem is that the ship that will leave in February 2021 might only be allowed to leave if it has a 33% occupancy load. You have a cruise booked for that cruise. There are 67% of you, because that cruise is sold out, 67% of you are going to get a cancellation notice. You're going to be kicked off the cruise. The odds are 67% likely you're not going, even if it's going, because they're going to be restricted to a 1/3 occupancy allowable for each cruise. They can't bring in 20 more ships for the same cruise that you were on, or 2 more to make it a total of 3 to have all 100% of you go. They don't have the ships. They don't have the crew. They're not going to have that availability. So the likelihood is if you're booked on an Oasis ship, or you're booked on a Freedom class ship, or an Independence class ship, or you're booked on another cruise line, you name the line you want to go on, Carnival, Princess, Holland America, Celebrity, Norwegian, pick anyone you want. It could well be that only 1/3 of the number of cruises that they have sold and got paid for can go, which means the other 2/3 will be offered a refund or a future cruise credit. If you think you're waiting now a long time for a refund, and you want a refund going forward, you're still gonna wait 90 days. It could be because we're still talking about normally 13.5 million people a year sail out of the U.S., or is it 17 million with 13 million being Americans? It's a huge number, okay? It's a huge number. It's the largest number on the planet for cruising. Only 1/3 of those folks might be allowed to cruise. It could be that restrictive. And this could be what's holding up a final announcement from the CDC and the cruise lines to go to the public to say that sale extension was July 24th, the drop dead, no sale date. It's going to be extended to whatever date. And then from then on, this will be the new normal from here. These will be the new rules for sailing. And in that release, that paragraph could well be the restriction on how many passengers will be allowed on a cruise ship going forward for the foreseeable future until there's a vaccine available to everybody. I have no idea. And even if there's a vaccine comes out miraculously this fall, which not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But even if there was, it will take a year for all people who will want a vaccine to get one, because you got to create a vaccine for the entire planet. We're not talking about residents of Florida getting the vaccine and everything's okay, or everyone in the United States gets a vaccine and the world is cured. Oh gosh, no. It's got to be every human being on the planet to guarantee that this vaccine is held in check. And that's assuming it works. And how are we going to know that this soon? I don't see it happening. I see this happening in later 2021. And that's why there won't be any cruising till 2022 under reasonable circumstances. But hey, I'm hopeful. You hope for the best. But the CDC, I cannot see the CDC signing off on a blank check for the cruise lines to go and sail. Go out there at 108% capacity, knock yourselves out. Just go to your private islands. It's fine with us. I don't see it happening. I just don't. Anyway, there's the there's some information there, and this was more or less discussed with Richard Fain, although I'm putting a lot of color commentary into that discussion because that discussion didn't last as long as I'm talking here. But they covered a lot of ground, and they were trying to get him to commit to a number. They were trying to find out, can you tell us with certainty what your occupancy level will be for sure when you start cruising? And he said, I can't tell you. I don't know yet, because I don't know what the CDC wants. I have no idea what the final, is it a square footage number? Is it a mathematical formula of so many people per square meter of space? Is it, is it so many people per square cubic meter of air circulation calculations per? No one knows. I don't know if the CDC even knows. They could well be studying this with mathematicians and health specialists, deep into the nights. And remember, everyone's working from home right now. The CDC doesn't have 5,000 people in an office building figuring this out. They're at home right now to protect against, guess what? So it affects everyone, and we don't know the numbers. So this is all in flux and happening at the same time. Again, thank you for a lot to so many of you. Of every 1,000 of you that watch what I do, maybe 100 of you might send me a message. Maybe it's 50. Of the 50 or 100 of you that send me a message, 2 are upset. And the rest are happy, supportive, agree, see eye to eye with what I'm talking about. To those 1 or 2 of you out there who just don't like what I'm doing, or you just accusing me of fake news, hey, say what you want. If I can't change your mind, I'm not losing any sleep over this. But I gotta tell you guys, the president of the cruise line is out now telling the reporter that he was talking to just what I'm telling you here. There's no guarantee there'll be any cruising by August 1. And even then, it'll be a partial startup. Royal Caribbean will start with maybe 5 ships, and they'll do that for 3 months. And that takes you to August, November, and December. August, September, October. Then we're into November for maybe 5 more ships for 3 more months. So that's November, December, January 20. Then 5 more ships, February, March, April. Now we're April 2021. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong. Everything is working. Everything is as smooth as can be. No new breakouts, no second wave countries around the world have opened up. Airlines are flying. Homeland Security does not insist on 14-day quarantine and anyone else. It's assuming that all is well. They did ask Mr. Fain this question: what happens if you're on a 1-week cruise with 3,000 passengers and somebody gets sick with the virus? What happens in September if this is gonna? What are you gonna do? And he's going, I don't know. We haven't been told by the CDC what will happen. And he also doesn't know what's going to happen in Jamaica, what's going to happen in Cayman, what's going to happen in St. Kitts, what's going to happen in Saint Martin. Are these island nations going to freak out just like they freaked out back in January, February when the Diamond Princess had issues in Japan and someone with a fever on a ship in the Caribbean stopped an entire ship from coming to our country because someone's got a fever on this ship? If they're still freaked out about just the slightest hint of a fever or a cold or someone coughing, what are the odds that there's going to be any normalcy in cruising? And what do you do if you are Royal Caribbean? You went through all the hoops with the CDC out of Miami to get 1,500 people onto a ship that used to handle 4,500. You got 1,500 people. You're down in Saint Martin, and one of your passengers or crew member gets a fever. Who's to say what that person is suffering from with certainty? And what if they are displaying symptoms of the dreaded virus? Now what? What happens now? Is everyone on a quarantine in Saint Martin? Is the ship allowed to sail back to Miami and sit offshore for 2 weeks? What about that person? Where are you going to put that person? If that person is on the ship, is that person likely to spread this to someone else, like the nurses on board taking care of that person, the doctor on board, the security guards making sure that person stays in their cabin? You tell me. I mean, these are the wild card questions that no one has an answer for, and that's why the likelihood of cruising starting sooner rather than later doesn't look too good. It just it doesn't look good. There is no way to stop it from spreading in close quarters, even at a 1/3 capacity on a ship. What are you going to do? Now, I don't want to pick on cruise ships. I hate doing that because, again, I love cruising, believe it or not. But you know what, folks? Let's say you go on a holiday to Dominican Republic and you go to a sandals resort. All-inclusive sandals facility holding 2,000 people with all the swimming pools and jacuzzis and swim-up bars and the beautiful pictures we see on television, these ads that we see with these happy, smiling people. It's usually guys with gray hair with young women. Have you noticed that? I noticed that because I'm an old white guy. I noticed that with my white hair, I noticed that it looks like the guy's secretary. It doesn't look like his wife of 40 years joining him, unless he married a trophy wife, which could have been a secretary. I'm just saying. But anyways, happy, smiling people, loving the sandals resorts. Viruses can spread at a resort too, because you're all staying in the same building every night, and you got the air conditioning systems moving the air through the 4 floors of the building, or 5 or 8 or 10 floor high, structure that you're all part of this resort. You're all going into the buffet breakfast every morning. You're all going into the restaurant in the afternoon. You're all having dinner in the evening. You're all watching entertainment. Your social distancing is, suspect at an all-inclusive resort as well. What about those? How are those going to handle a guest suffering from a fever? And if you are a guest, think about this. Maybe not any of you personally. I'm not accusing any of my viewers of this behavior, all right? But I'm just saying, we all know somebody. Maybe we all know somebody. We've met someone. We used to work with someone, a distant relative, that would have the fever but would say nothing. They'll keep it to themselves. They won't call themselves out. They'll take Tylenol to try to get rid of it. And they'll wait out their 1 week vacay because, after all, it's $200-300 a night, prepaid already. They want to get their money worth. And at the end of the vacation, they just go home, and they don't tell anybody how they're feeling. And if they don't get measured for a temperature, all is well. And if Tylenol can keep the fever down enough to get through customs to get home, they'll deal with it when they get there. Well, for those 4 or 5 days that they were still at the resort and traveling through the airport and being on the airplane and the transfers and everything else, they exposed themselves to how many hundreds of people do you think? Take a wild guess. I don't know. 300, 200, 600. And they're a secret super spreader. They know it. They knew it. They did it. And they were hoping it was just a cold or a fever. And that's all it was. That's what they were hoping it was. But, in reality, it was the dreaded virus. And they said nothing because they didn't want to be put into quarantine in Dominican Republic or in Mexico or wherever this is happening. They didn't want to be singled out and be possibly kept in quarantine away from their family and loved ones for 2 weeks. Perhaps they were also told, if you are tested positive while you're down here, you will go into quarantine and you will pay for the fee. And it's a $200 a day charge, 14 days, $200 a day, 2,800 American dollars. And your flight home, you got to get your own ticket home because you lost your flight. You missed it. Now all of a sudden that's $500 one way, perhaps, if you can get on an airplane. And then when you land back in the States, you declare what happened to you you're now in a 2-week thing in the USA at your expense. Now that's a 4-week quarantine scenario, another $2,800. You can imagine how people might not want to talk about the fact they're not feeling well all of a sudden. What's the incentive to come clean? Have you thought of that? That could be happening on cruises, on all-inclusive vacations, inside Disneyland, Disney World, Universal Studios, anywhere the public gathers where they're going to stay a while. There's hotels in Disney World. You stay for a week, all-inclusive. What if you're not feeling it? What if your child has a fever, but mom thinks it's just a cold and doesn't say anything? Just gives the kids some of the children's Tylenol and, doesn't say anything. And hotel staff are getting exposed, restaurant staff getting exposed, tourists getting exposed to the little kids sniffling and coughing. Hey, yeah, it's scary stuff, people. It is scary stuff. And I have a tough time seeing how traveling can be anywhere near normal again for now. And even when the virus the vaccine comes out. The vaccine comes out. Great news, happy times, great days, rejoice and everything. You got all those anti-vaxxers who don't believe in vaccines. It's anti-Christian. It's anti-God. It's anti-whatever my beliefs are. I'm not going to if you get one of those vaccines, you could get meningitis. You could get cancer. You could, who knows what you can get if you take the needle. And now what? Folks, I'm asking you, what's the future of the world with respect to this virus and defeating it if not everyone is on board? If 5% of the world won't get it, and now I'm just talking in the US and Canada, I'm just talking, home, Europeans too, and then the third world. If the vaccine cannot be delivered to the third world, by the way, who's going to pay for the fee to get people vaccinated in Nigeria, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia? Who's going in there? Who's got the guts to go in there and vaccinate all those millions and millions of people who have no trust in the Western world? Because why should they trust us? Have we been good to them? It makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, can this thing be snuffed out? Or will some warlord in certain countries of the world that controls everything wants a bribe that is so big to be paid in cash before he allows his own trapped people to be paid, to be inoculated? They can't make a deal with this guy. That means millions are not going to be given the shot. And you know what? A little virus in the middle of nowhere has a way of landing in downtown Manhattan in no time. It just does. And so we're not safe, folks. We're not safe. Anyway, there you go. There's all kinds of stuff to think about. I wish it were I wish it were, miracle solutions to the problems. But for those, 0.1% of you who write to me and tell me I'm just a, constant Debbie Downer guy, and all you do is spread bad news all the time, and you just don't give us the happy news. Well, sorry, can't help you there, but I got to tell you, what I see happening and where I see it going, I'm asking myself, how is this going to happen? How is this going to work out that all of us who all we want to do is go on a cruise? I just want to get on an airplane, get to Miami, get on a cruise ship, enjoy myself, see my viewers, and then maybe have a hotel back on the mainland for a few days, do a couple of meet and greets, and then fly home. How am I going to do that? How am I going to be allowed to do that as a Canadian coming into America and then going to international spots on a cruise and coming back to America to come back to Canada? How is that going to work out smoothly from step one to the last step? Too many potential glitches that could, put a bump in the road. And I just don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, there you go, folks. There's a few thoughts from this guy. What are your thoughts? Love to hear what you're thinking of. Michael is saying here, I would guess the way the cruise lines determine the 33% that go are suites, first balcony, second, and then based on the price of your room, the more expensive your room, the better chance you'll be in the 33%. Yeah, well, you take a look at a ship like this one right here. Here's here's a model of the Bliss. And, the Bliss holds 4,200 passengers, something like that. I mean, you've got all of these decks, of course. Sorry if it's too glary here. I'm not sure if it'll work or not. I'll see if I can work this. I'll try. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm trying to get it to focus properly, and I think the camera's battling between me and it. In any event, you've got 8 or 9 decks here of balconies, and the CDC might say 1/3 occupancy per level only. And that includes the Haven up here, this high-end part of town. The Haven normally might have 450 people throughout all the Haven suites. They might be restricted to 150 Haven passengers only. That would be a problem. Financial glitch, to say the least, because normally 450 passengers on the Haven up there, they're paying for half the cost of the entire trip. The other half is handled by the other 3,800 of the people on the ship. Folks, now we're down to maybe 1,200 people in balconies. The prices have to double. They have to at least double to make it economically viable for the cruise ship to make a go of it. You've got the payments on this ship, the interest charges, and all the other ships behind it to handle the whole cruise line and all the crews on board the ship, but all the staff on the mainland as well, the marketing, the legals, the accounting. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how they can do it for $6.99 a week anymore. I really don't know. Let's see what's going to happen. Ruth says a good point here. Ruth is saying, what will that do to pricing? It'll do bad things to pricing. Now, I guess you could say one positive piece of news would be, there's a lot fewer people on the ship, so the experience for those of us on the ship should be pretty good. Yeah, I guess that could be it. But are you willing to pay that kind of a price? Carla Miller is here saying, "Hi, Bruce. You just named all the Twilight Zone travel nightmares." Laughing out loud. There are more. I'm going to talk about this in the next couple of days. I'm going to talk about another subject that is getting more and more press now, and I'm getting more comments on it all the time. It has to do with getting a refund, actually getting your cash back. And I'm beginning to hear nightmare stories about refunds where people have gone through travel groups or travel agencies, depending on which ones and what country you're talking about. And there are folks out there who are having problems getting their money back because what they are now finding out is that their travel agencies based in Romania, based in the UK, based in other countries. I'm not pointing any fingers at any particular agency anywhere, but they're finding out, people are finding out that these agencies are using monies coming in for trips Just like cruise lines, the money comes in for a cruise down the road, and that cash is used now for operations. And then for the cruise to happen, the cruise happens. But by the time the cruise is happening, the payments at that point in time for salaries and whatnot are being paid by future deposits on future cruises. And there are travel agencies in certain countries around the world where their protections aren't so good, and where people are finding out that that they can't get a refund because their travel agency is broke. They have not got any new cash coming in for future holidays, and they've been living off of the paid vacations and what have you from holidays that should have happened already. In effect, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're behind, and they're actually insolvent in a way, but they're living off cash flow. And now with the doors shut and we're playing musical chairs and the music stops and everybody now has to find a seat to sit in, there are hundreds of thousands of travelers, vacationers, who want to sit down on the chair and get their dough, and there aren't enough chairs to go around because these outfits were in effect running a loosey-goosey ship, and they were thinking that the reservations would always come in and people would always book a vacation every Christmas and every summer and every Easter and so, and they would always have cash in the house to take care of bills, when in reality they should have only been living off of the commissions that they were truly earning at the time the trips were truly happening. That wasn't the case. And after the first few weeks the shutdown took place, the measles began to appear like a whack-a-mole. These little red pimples started to show up everywhere, and they were able to get the first refunds out for people who wanted their money back. But now it's month 3, month 4, month 5, and we have got a number of travel agencies that are upside down financially. Now, to remind all of you about one important factor, and that is Ambren Travel, the travel agency that is our official travel agency. I don't own the company or anything like that. They have indicated to me time and time again, and one of the reasons I utilize them for my services, for my channel services, is because they don't take your cash into their agency when you book with them, ever. You cannot give Ambren Travel your credit card info and give them money. They don't want your money. Your cash goes to the cruise lines directly into your own personal account at the cruise line. So if you're booking a cruise with any cruise line through Ambren Travel for 2021, 2022, whatever you want, or you've booked one in the past, the cash that you sent them went into your own account at the cruise line. And so a refund comes to you from the cruise line, not from Ambren Travel. So none of your dollars are tied up inside of Ambren's books. Ambren gets paid by the cruise lines. That's how this works. And so, like any travel agency should operate, they earn money when you are taking your trip. So they were being paid back in December and in January and in February for all the cruises that had been taken in November, December, and January, and so on. And any cruises that didn't take place, they didn't get paid for because you didn't go. You got a future cruise credit. But to be fair to Ambren and everyone else out there, cruise lines have been told by cruise agencies have been told by cruise lines that even if you booked a customer for a cruise, let's say that was supposed to happen this week and now has been canceled, you will still be paid a commission on a cruise that didn't happen because of all the work you did as a travel agent to handle the customer's bookings in the first place. And even if the customer takes a refund, takes their money back, the cruise line out of their own pocket is paying travel agencies a fee for having booked you, the traveler, into that cruise that ultimately didn't take place. So that is what cruise lines are doing, and they have reaffirmed and have committed to their travel agency partners around the world. This will continue. So if you're getting a phone call from a customer that wants to go on a cruise in 2021, you can take the booking, you can find a room for them, you can go through all the excursions, you can figure out all the logistics of what they want to do on the cruise, and the deposit will go to the cruise line. The booking will be paid for through the cruise line from the customer, direct to the cruise line only. And Ambren will be paid, and all other travel agencies will be paid a commission for their services for that particular passenger and that particular cruise. Husband and wife, family, whatever it was. If the cruise happens or not, it doesn't matter. The agencies are paid. So this is allowing agencies to survive, the legitimate ones. But there are more and more stories now coming out through media where people are telling me, like, I booked a trip to Europe, and I paid for my airfare, my hotel. I paid for my accommodations, and some excursions and tours, all through an agency, and everything got canceled. I had insurance for everything, and everything got canceled and is all done for. I contacted the agency to get a refund, and I've since found out horror stories like the insurance I had was canceled by the agency. I didn't cancel the insurance. The insurance never got the money. The policy was never purchased. They tell me they can't refund me my money. They can only send me a credit against a future trip. They can't pay me out. Or in some cases, people are finding out to get a refund, you need a $150 per person cancellation fee, and then you have to wait 60 days. And after 60 days, they still haven't got their money. And then they're being told they're not going to get their money. They can only get a future credit. Horror stories like this are beginning to pop up. And I expect this to get worse as these shutdowns go on and on and on, month by month by month. And we've only touched the beginning, the surface, scratching the surface of horror stories of passengers out there who have booked vacations of all kinds, not just cruises, all kinds of vacations where their money is missing. And the reason is these entities out there, these so-called discount online entities, and I'm not saying any names or any locations. They've been robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they are broke. They are technically insolvent. They just haven't declared it yet, and they're just trying to hold off the cancellations with future credits. They're just trying to do what they can. And I think a lot of people are going to be filing class action lawsuits through legal firms going forward against these entities, but there'll be nothing there because these entities are, they were just online booking agencies that had no assets and were literally living off the cash flow. And I'm getting this vibe, but with the cruise lines directly, you're okay. With Ambren directly, you're okay. And then, your favorite travel agency, you have to figure out for yourself, where do you stand and how do you stand with respect to the safety of your deposit or your prepaid vacation. That's what I know. That's what I'm hearing. I'll be looking into that going forward, and we'll see what's going on. Anyway, there you have it. More interesting. It just never ends. Penny is just saying here she just got her refund today from Carnival. We also rebooked for 2 for next year, so you're safe there. You're gonna be fine. Who else? Scott Weber is saying that the jurisdictions where the home ports are located through do listen to the CDC, and I think they have some statutory authority over the ports. Tim Bowman is saying the problem with the cruise lines is that they are guilty of doing the same thing as the travel agents. They currently spend future cruise deposits and fares and do not live on the profit of that cruise. The good news, though, for the big three, Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, they're publicly traded companies, and they have to disclose through the SEC and to their shareholders their actual status of cash on hand and where is it. So if they've brought in, let's say, I believe it was Royal Caribbean the other day, they admitted that they have $2.4 billion of deposits on hand, but they also have $2 billion of cash on hand on top of that to take care of their bleed rate, their cash bleed rate. So they and Carnival and Norwegian have to talk and reveal that. So good news for all of you as cruisers out there through these major cruise lines. Your deposits are safe. Let's see here. Jan is saying something pretty good here. There's 239 in the house. Please hit the button for Bruce. Give him thumbs up. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cash King, I think a lot of cruise YouTubers are way too unrealistic about the cruise lines. Tina F is here. Do you know if you choose a future cruise credit, can you decide to cancel later? Don't want to really just cancel, but you never know. Yes, if you've got a future cruise credit, you have what's known as an either or option. You can keep your future cruise credit the way it is and wait it out, or you can change your mind and say, you know what, I've decided just to take a refund instead. The original cash you sent in will be refunded to you. Most cruise lines have adopted that policy. All right. Jan is saying, Bruce, you have 115 thumbs ups right now. Thank you, everybody, for that. If any of you out there can throw a thumbs up to this show, I would really, really appreciate it. Tim Bowman for Carnival, they had $4 billion in future cruise deposits and $500 million in cash in November 30th of 19. Yes, things have changed dramatically since November 30th of 19. Carnival now has about $3 or $4 billion in cash in the bank, plus deposits. They're quite liquid. They made a lot of moves. Emily, my opinion, the cruise ships have to wait for the CDC before anyone goes anywhere. I think you're right there. Steph K is saying you can make can you make your Facebook group private? I'd love to post here, but I don't want my friends seeing everything I write. I haven't made it private. I've left it as a public page for all to enjoy. It's just a hangout page. But if there's anything you'd like to post to me privately, you can do that through Facebook through direct messaging. You can do that, or you can send me a private email through my email address, which is usually down below on these videos. I have a feeling though today I didn't post it. So look at yesterday's live show or the day before or any video I've made. You'll find my private email there, and you can always send me a message. They are still offloading crew now. Now no way they're going to sail by August. That's right, Kaji King. They're too busy. They're too busy, downsizing to get ready to start cruising. I agree. Roy and Sue's Travel Channel. So the learning is go through the cruise line for your entire booking. Only then will you be covered for the whole of the booking. That's one. But if your travel agent is asking you to send them cash directly through a credit card, then the radar should go up. And that's why I mentioned Ambren Travel. They do not take your credit card information. They tell you that up front. You don't send us money. We send you on a link to the cruise line, and we'll handle everything for you with the cruise line, but they handle your deposit once we figured out your cruise. 123 thumbs ups right now. David is saying, thank you so much, guys. Will there be smaller ships, 1,300 passenger ships? No, I don't think so. I think that the cruise lines are going to reluctantly accept a beginning scenario that'll start with a 33% load factor, if it's that low, and then work with the CDC going forward to try to get that up again, get that back into the 50% range and see how it goes a while. And if there's no issues there, maybe we can go down to 60% and just over 5 years or so, get these big ships back to 2/3, 70%, 75% occupancy. And they'll keep the big ships going, and they won't make the smaller ships because smaller ships mean higher dollars per passenger. That's just the way it is. The minimum number of crew you need to operate safely a cruise line with paying passengers on it through the CDC will be certain ratios and certain numbers. There must be so many officers. There must be so many medical. There must be so many health inspectors, and there'll be so many minimums that the cruise lines will go, we cannot go on the ocean with less. If we're less than 1,000 passengers, it doesn't work. We got to have ships big enough that even if we're down to a third, we're still going out with 1,500, 2,000 passengers. They're going to be looking at the numbers that way. I think that's the way it's going to go. Any comments on the Mardi Gras construction? I don't have anything specific today. I just am aware that the ship was delayed already, that it was behind, but I don't know how far behind. I can tell you that the minute the ship is ready and they hand over the keys, there are no keys, but when they hand over the keys to Carnival has to make payments starting right then. Carnival doesn't want the ship right now. They'd rather the ship sit in the dock at the shipyard or wherever they're testing it for sea trials. Take your time, guys. We're in no hurry to receive this ship right now. Because the minute we get the keys to that thing, we got to put the crew on there, and we got to pay the insurance on it. We got to pay the payments on it, and they don't want the meters to start. So yeah, there's no hurry for Carnival to get that ship right now. Jan, we're supposed to be smaller ships that we're going to cruise Great Lakes, but I feel they won't be built out. Well, that one is a different category of fish. That's a different kettle of fish than an ocean going cruise ship that will do 7 and 10 day cruises. These are explorer ships. And these explorer class vessels with the reinforced hulls are set to go to exotic ports of call, the Arctic, the Antarctic, of course, extreme ports. And then they're throwing in the Great Lakes. And from what I've heard already, Viking Ocean, Viking cruises, so there's Viking Ocean, there's Viking River cruises, now there's Viking Exploration cruises. The folks at Viking were having no trouble at all pre-selling cruises on these exploration ships at $1,000 to $2,000 a night per passenger. No problem whatsoever. So even with new restrictions from the CDC, these ships, they'll make money right off the get-go, right off the bat, because they already had much more space per passenger than a big ship did. There's way fewer passengers on the ship. And so something tells me these will go ahead. These will go ahead. The new river cruises that Viking wants to build, the Mississippi River Cruise, no problem at all. They're going to get top dollar for that, and they can handle the increased cost. There won't be a problem. Henry Miller, hello, Tim. I just want to know do you think when the cruise line will start again, will they sail around the U.S. islands? I booked with Royal for a U.S. island treaties cruise, but it was canceled. Yeah, Henry Miller, I don't know the answer to that question either. Deborah, Mardi Gras is on hold. That's her thought on that. Steve, you have no facts to go by to make that statement. You have no facts, Bruce. You know nothing. That's one of those people that tell me, yeah, I have no facts. Well, okay. I guess I can say this. The director of the CDC is not here with me right now and is not being interviewed with me live on the air to verify everything I've just talked about. The port director of Miami and the port director of Saint Martin, and I'm not talking to them right now. They're not doing personal interviews with me. So I guess you're right. I just don't have it from the horse's mouth. I guess I'm just going on, news announcements being made by the cruise lines to the SEC, which is mandatory, going by existing CDC statements, going by all kinds of government press releases from all the island governments out there who are telling cruise lines, don't bother coming here. Then there's the Minister of Health for the province of British Columbia saying there will be no cruising in British Columbia for this season at all. You know what? Steve, I'm going to kind of go with these people and say, I think I'm pretty safe in regurgitating their information to you guys. But Steve, you don't have to believe me. I mean, if you think I'm full of hot air, you go ahead and think away. But good luck booking your cruise this week. Good luck booking your cruise in July or August or September. You let us know how that cruise is going for you, because something tells me you're not going anywhere. I don't think so. Gail, I haven't heard anything about European river cruises. Have you? I've heard nothing but bad news. Cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. I have heard some speculation where cruise line people have been asked by media, what do you think might happen? And they're kind of answering like, we think maybe what might happen is we'll do 3 and 4 night cruises instead of 15 night cruises. We might do 4 to 6 night cruises instead of longer. We'll keep the ship in Austria only. We'll keep the ship only in Germany. We won't cross borders. And so Germans can get on a ship from one city, cruise for 4 nights and get off, several towns. And at the end they get off and they're still in Germany. And under German health regulations, maybe we're okay. But then again, sorry, I gotta have that little drink there. Then again, Steve might say, Bruce, you're just full of hot air. You're just dreaming. You're making this stuff up. So Gail, I'm doing the best I can for you. Will the crime and the begging increase on the destinations? Oh, Jason, Man, the world is going to be in a rougher place economically. There's no doubt about that. What do you think will happen with upcoming dry docks for minor refurbishments? Steph wants to know. I think even minor refurbishments are off the table. I think right now it's preserve cash mode. Seriously, preserve cash mode. Until half the fleets are back up and running, I can't see ships going in. Cruise lines will be too afraid to commit. Big MC. I'm on a charter cruise out of Miami with 4,000 people in November via Royal Caribbean. How likely is that? Not very likely. I have a feeling, Big MC, Big Mac, I have a feeling that even if the cruise line were to be allowed to do a charter in November, the deal might be that only 1,500 people can go. They might restrict it down to that low, which means you might or might not be going. It all depends if you made the lottery or not. I just don't know. Jeffrey is saying hi to me. Hi, Jeffrey. Stephanie, I missed the directions to order the wooden phone amplifier. Please say it again. If you want one of these right here, go to my homepage for my channel or go to any video I've uploaded except today's. Any video, and go down below in the description. There'll be a little bar that says more info. You might need to use your laptop. I'm just going to warn you, your phone might not be good enough for this. Your iPad might put up some squawk. You might need to go onto my channel through the internet, through a laptop. But if you go to my homepage and hit the About tab, because that'll be kind of over here somewhere, there's a tab that says About. Click on that, and you'll find in blue ink, there'll be little, there'll be like RedBubble, there'll be donate, there might be Patreon. Hit the donate, the blue type saying donate. Hit that. It'll take you to the PayPal link. And I think it's called PayPal Me or something like that. When you get there, you can then click the donation that you want to make in what currency. Make it US dollars, $50 US. To send to me. It'll offer my name as where you're going to send it. And then there'll be a message box that you can enter a message, and you'll put in there, hi, it's Stephanie. I want one of your amplifiers. Put in your first and last name and your mailing address. Send that to me. And upon receipt of that, I have your mailing address, your name, and your funds will have landed through PayPal, and I can go to the post office tomorrow and get it out of here. So that's how it works. Okay. I hope that works for you. I know you've been trying to get a hold of me for a couple of days about this, so I'm hopeful this will happen for you. Who else is here? Ben is saying, I hope Viking Cruises have chocolate cake. That would be yes, I think they do have chocolate cake. 143 thumbs up, says Jan. Thank you, folks, for 143 thumbs ups. Keep them coming, guys. Steph K, I trust Bruce. As soon as the virus started spreading in Italy, he knew that the future cruising would be in jeopardy. Well, when it happened in Italy, I knew that Mediterranean cruises were done for. I mean, it was over. And then I had viewers who were on the ships in the Mediterranean contacting me saying, I'm on the ship and everything just got thrown up in the air. What's going to happen to me? Then I had viewers who were in Asia. I had viewers that are on cruise ships in the Caribbean, in Mexico. I mean, my Facebook instant messenger, my personal email account, and my reactions here. People were telling us, all of us, what was happening. Right now, there are no people on board cruise ships other than crew members. So it's grim for them right now to get them off. Unbelievable. It's kind of sad. Anyway, there you go. Are you ready for some trivia, folks? I'd like to get into some trivia here. I've been working away on some questions. I've got them ready to go. Why don't we I'll set up my big ass iPad, and we'll start off with some trivia questions. If you've never experienced traveling with Bruce trivia before, well, let me tell you what happens. I fire up my big ass iPad and I pull up some questions. These have multiple correct answers. In some cases, 10, 20, 40. And I will read the question to all of you. There is no cheating. Don't go on Google to look this stuff up. Just use your brains. Try to come up with the answer. And send me an answer right through here like you always do when you talk to me. But only one correct answer per message. Don't send me a message with 5 correct answers. I won't read them. I'll just only read the first one and move on. Only one per person. And we'll see how fast you can do it. Different topics, different questions. We'll see how it works out. Now, I will use my my iPad here, my phone, and I will read your questions here. I will now set up my big S iPad. I got my big S iPad pencil here, and let's get the first question up and ready to run here. And then I will pop up over here on my StreamYard page. I will put up the first question. All right. Okay. So here comes your first question. Are you ready? Tell me the names of the cities that have the most Starbucks in the United States of America. Let's find out if you know the answers to this one. Okay, I'm looking for Starbucks locations in the United States, cities with the most Starbucks. Okay. Well, let's see if we can get this going. I gotta work my big ass pad here. Questions, answers coming in like crazy. Just keep coming, guys. Thank you very much. 140 likes so far, says Jeffrey. Fantastic, guys. Keep the likes coming in. Let me see here. Where's my question here for Starbucks? Yes, there it is, right there. Let me set up my marker. And you guys keep giving me the answers, and we will read them off and work this list together. Okay, the first answer came in Seattle, the gaming text, Matthew Hoffman, Jan, Steph K, BC, Joseph, David, Art, Tim. Everyone's thinking, well, why not Seattle? That's where the company's headquartered. Wouldn't it be one of the American cities with the most Starbucks? Your answer is correct, but it's not the number one city. In Seattle, there are 161 Starbucks, and that would put Seattle in fourth place. Now, there was a time in the early days of Starbucks, and probably up to about 10 years ago, Seattle would have been number one, but not anymore. Not anymore. David Eats Chocolate is saying, what about New York City? Same with BC and Steph K. They're talking DJL from San Francisco is also saying, what about this? Yes, New York City is definitely number one for Starbucks locations. 216 in New York. Next city on the list, Los Angeles. Matthew Hoffman is thinking L.A. Los Angeles is about number 9 or so, 106 locations. Portland, just a bill or two, is thinking Portland, number 8, 122 Starbucks in Portland, Oregon. Only one answer at a time, folks, is all I'm going to read. San Francisco, Jen S. San Francisco looks like in 11th place, 103 locations in the United States for Starbucks. We got New York City coming in, New York coming in, Seattle, Frisco. Gaming text. What about Miami, Bruce? Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida has 57 locations. They're in around the 19th place in the United States. Denver, Charles Hoffman. Denver, Colorado. Denver, 81 locations in the top 15. It looks like about 13th. Who else? Chicago, La Vita Merit. I love the folks in Chicago. 183 Starbucks in Chicago, the number 2 city for America for Starbucks. New York, number 1. Chicago, number 2. Seattle, number 4. What is number 3? Which city is number 3? Let's see here. We have Miami, we have Seattle, New York, LA, Frisco. Toronto is not in America, despite the expansion plans of Americans. Toronto is not in the United States. Victoria, that's not in the U.S. either. Andrew Capite is here. How you doing, buddy? Portland, we've got Portland. Vancouver's in Canada. Seattle, we've done. San Diego, Sean. San Diego, 135 locations. Looks like in 6th place in the United States. I haven't even heard the first questions. The answers are flying. The question is right on your screen. Cities in USA with the most Starbucks locations. And right here, a comment just came in, the kind of comment I love to see. BMac sending me a $5 donation because he's thanking me for answering his question. That is very kind of you, and I thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. All righty, let's continue on to answers to the question, the U.S. cities with the most Starbucks. We're going Chicago. Atlanta just came in. Steph K, Atlanta. All right. That's a city we haven't looked up yet. Atlanta has 71 Starbucks locations, 16th most in the United States. Sean C., Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah. Number 3 city for Starbucks locations in America is Vegas. New York has 216, Chicago 183, Las Vegas 165, Seattle 161. Vegas is right up there. Todd, hi Bruce. I'm currently booked on NCL for a 9-day cruise to Copenhagen, July 21. Your thoughts? You have a better chance in July 2021 than July 20 for sure. Big time, much better chance. But we'll find out, sir. We'll keep an eye on that, Todd. We'll see. Sean is wondering about Washington, D.C. for Starbucks locations. We've got 87 in Washington, D.C. Washington is in the top 11. Let's see. New York, Atlanta, Chicago, we've already got. Denver, Seattle, we got. Boston, Rodney Couples, Boston in Massachusetts. Boston has 49. That would put them in the top 25 in America. Washington, we did. Boston, we just got 160 likes. Thanks for those likes, you guys. These are great. Houston, Texas. Yes, 147 thumbs up. No, 147 Starbucks. 147 Starbucks in Houston, Texas, making Houston the fifth highest, followed by San Diego, Portland, LA, and Frisco. You now have approximately the top 10 locked in. Georgetown, Texas, Orlando, Florida. Orlando, yeah, there are 51 Starbucks in Orlando. That puts Orlando in and around 20th place or so, 21st place. Tokyo, that's not USA. Charlotte, the city of Charlotte in North Carolina, I believe. Isn't that right? Charlotte, North Carolina, 53. Looks like it's right at number 20. Dallas, Texas, 98 in Dallas, 11th highest. Chicago and Dallas. Flint, Michigan for Starbucks. To make the list, you need 40. Flint doesn't have 40 Starbucks. Let's see. Any more? We've got St. Louis. Sherry, Awesome Sunsets Travel. YouTuber in her own right. Welcome, darling. St. Louis. Unfortunately, St. Louis is not in the top 30, but I got you a plug. So there you go. Who else is here? Thank you again, Big Mac. Thank you, B Mac, for that $5 donation. I don't know if I can get that to focus. There it is. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Minnesota, that's a state. New Orleans, the city of New Orleans, for Starbucks is not in the top 30 in America. Dallas, Austin, Texas. Let's see. Yeah, 64 Starbucks in Austin. That puts Austin at 18th place in America. JRS, Jan is telling me 161 thumbs ups. Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, 91 in Phoenix. Looks like about the 12th or 11th highest number, approximately. Bill Carroll, what about Detroit, Bruce? Detroit, Michigan. Beautiful people in Michigan, but unfortunately, Detroit did not make the top 30 yet, not with 40 locations or more. Portland, we've got. I've never been to Starbucks, says Chris. Who else? Honolulu in Hawaii. Yes, 48 Starbucks in Honolulu, putting Honolulu into 25th place overall. Jan is saying we're going for 200 likes. Let's hope so. California, we did. Detroit, we tried. Austin, we did. San Juan, Puerto Rico. No, but there are Starbucks in San Juan, but not 40. I've been to a Starbucks in San Juan. Very well run. San Jose. Nina, I'll take your San Jose. I don't care how you spell it. 77 Starbucks. 14th most in America. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is not showing in the top 30 for Starbucks. Fort Lauderdale, not showing either. Miami, we did. Charleston, we did. Charleston, South Carolina. If I'm mistaken, I'm incorrect. I called it North Carolina South. I apologize. Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, yes, 49 Starbucks in Columbus. That puts it into the top 21, 22 or so. Greenville, South Carolina, not in the top 30. Cleveland, no. Tallahassee, Florida, nope. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, not in the top 30. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, not in the top 30 opportunities in Philly, I would think. Cincinnati, Ohio. No Cincinnati, Ohio either. Minneapolis, the Minneapolis-St. Paul region. No, not in the top 30. Nashville, not in the top 30. Pittsburgh, PA, not in the top 30. Portland, we have. Philly, we tried. Creston, no can do. Chris, what a guy. Jacksonville, Florida, the most populated city in all of Florida, is not in the top 30. Miami has more. Orlando has more, but not Jacksonville. Nashville, we've tried. North Conway, New Hampshire. Virginia Beach, maybe. Maybe not. San Antonio, Texas. Yes. 65 locations of Starbucks in San Antonio, Texas. 21st most in America. Salt Lake City, not in the top 30 with at least 40 or more. Sacramento, California, yes, 73 locations, number 15 in America, 4 Starbucks locations. Memphis, Tennessee, no. Jacksonville, no. Tampa, Florida, yes. 40 locations tied at 30. Yes. Dallas, we did. Phoenix, we did. Des Moines, Iowa, the last place you want to cruise in Italy. Indianapolis, yes. Indianapolis, 60 locations in Indianapolis, putting them in the number 24 spot. And we're now down to only 4 locations to go, and then we're done. Des Moines, Indianapolis, Hartford. Stephanie, you did it. You did it, Stephanie. You did it. You got yourself a cell phone amplifier. Your payment came through. You did it. Way to go. Oh, I know it's been days and days you've been trying to do it. Fantastic. Just got your notification. Well done. I will get it out tomorrow for sure. All right. Hartford, Connecticut. No. Kansas City. No. Columbia, South Carolina. Las Vegas, we did. Buffalo, New York. No, and no. Lake Tahoe, Palm Springs, and Seattle. Seattle, we did already. Palm Springs, no. I'm looking for a city in Arizona, but not Phoenix. I'm looking for a city in Texas. I'm looking for a city in Colorado, not Denver. I'm looking for a city in Virginia, and a loyal follower of this channel lives in this city in Virginia. I don't think he's here, but he is one of my diehards, and he is from this city, and I've mentioned it time and time again. Let's see if anybody gets it. Looking at Flagstaff, no. Colorado Springs, no. Norfolk, Virginia, nope. It's not Norfolk. Scottsdale, Richmond. It's Richmond, Virginia, home of Tom Henry, one of my deepest followers, one of the greatest followers I've got. Tom Henry, I love you wherever you are tonight. Richmond, Virginia has 40 locations, tied for 30th place. All right, moving on. Aspen, Colorado Springs. Nope. Tucson, Arizona is the other Arizona city. 48 Starbucks in Tucson, or Tucson. There are 2 left to go. One in Virginia. Okay, this city has a location. This city as a city in Texas and Virginia, the same name. The city I'm looking for is in Virginia, starts with the letter A. And let's move on. San Antonio, Scottsdale, Boulder, and Tucson. I'm looking for a city in Colorado, not Boulder, starts with an A, and a city in Virginia starts with an A. And the city also there's also a city in Texas with the same name, but they're part of Dallas. It's where the Cowboys play their football. Where is their stadium located? In Texas. It's not in Dallas. Where do the Cowboys play football? Alexandria, Aspen, Arlington. It's Arlington. Arlington, Virginia has 46 Starbucks. Arlington, Texas is part of the metropolitan Dallas region. Dallas, we've already mentioned, had 98 Starbucks. One city to go in Colorado, starts with the letter A. In Colorado, this city has 42 Starbucks locations. It's not Colorado. It's not Boulder. It starts with the letter A in Colorado. There's a city in Illinois, starts with the letter A, just south of Chicago. But it's not the city I'm looking for, but it's the same name. And Sean, you nailed it right there. Aurora, Colorado. Aurora, Illinois, by the way, I was thinking of as well. Aurora, 42 Starbucks locations, and that finishes the list for Starbucks in America. Here we go. Here's the list for you. New York, Chicago, Vegas, Seattle, Houston, San Diego, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., Denver, San Jose, Sacramento, Atlanta, San Antonio, Austin, Indianapolis, Miami, Charlotte, Orlando, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Honolulu, Tucson, Arlington, Aurora, Tampa, and Richmond. Those are the American cities with the mostest Starbucks locations. The mostest with the mostest. All righty. I'm going to change this one up a little bit. We're going to have some fun here. I'm going to have fun. I don't know if you guys, I'm hoping you guys have as much fun as I have with this quiz. I found this quiz today, and it's in here. Tell me right now, can you tell me George Costanza trivia and history? I'm giving you clues. You tell me the answers to the following questions about George Costanza on the television show Seinfeld. George used to use this name all the time as a character name on the show. He used to call himself this. What did he call himself? He was with a company, and he gave himself this name. What were George's parents' first names? The Costanzas, Mom and Dad Costanza, the father, in real life, just passed away last week. What were his parents' name in real life? Art Vandelay just came in. That's right. Art Vandelay is the name that George Costanza used to use because he used to sell latex for the Vandelay Industries. That's right. Frank and Estelle, exactly right. Frank and Estelle Costanza were his parents' names. Absolutely right. All right, here we go. Rather than read the book, George Costanza figured, I'll take a shortcut. I'll just watch the movie. I'll watch the movie rather than read the book. He was in a book club. What was the name of the book or the movie that he decided to watch? He ended up watching the movie at a stranger's house. Because Jerry's television, he couldn't use Jerry's TV. What was the name of the movie that George went to see at someone else's house? People he didn't even know. Anyone have any idea? What was the job he held? What was the outfit he worked for? He held this job the longest on the show. It was actually part of a pro sports team. What was the name? Here we go. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Exactly. He watched the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's at a stranger's home. Didn't know who these people were. They eventually kicked him out because he didn't like some of the snacks they were offering him. What nickname did George Costanza want to have, but he couldn't get it? Somebody else got it instead, and it made him angry. What was the nickname he wanted to be known by? We've got Grapes of Wrath for the book. No, it was the Breakfast at Tiffany's. The Yankees was the New York team. That was the company he worked for the longest. The New York Yankees. He had a day job there for the longest amount of time. And the nickname is coming in from BJ. From BJ and Nina. T-Bone. He wanted to be known as T-Bone. Tell me for a bonus point, what was the nickname they gave him instead? He wanted to be known as T-Bone, but he didn't get known as T-Bone. He was given another name. Does anybody know what the nickname was that he was given instead, which drove him crazy? What was George's fiance's name? What was her name? He was married. He was going to be married to her. And what did she lick that killed her? She died because she was licking something. What did her in? Does anyone know? BJ knows. The nickname he got was Coco, named after the gorilla Coco. The gorilla. That is correct. Bonus points to all of you who got that one. BJ is going. His fiance's name was Susan. What was her last name? Anybody know her last name? And what was she licking that killed her? Anybody know what killed her? Yes, it was envelopes. Jen, BJ all got poison from the glue on the envelopes to the wedding invitations. She was licking them instead of using a sponge, and that apparently killed her. Unbelievable. Susan, everyone got Susan's first name. Anybody know her last name? Does anyone know? All right, let's move on. George was actually dating this celebrity for a while. What was her name? And if George were ever to be a porn star, he wanted to be known by this name. What was the name he wanted to be known as if he were to be a porn star? Does anyone know? Susan Ross. Nina Frank has got it. I know Nina would get it. Susan Ross. That was Susan's last name. Susan Ross. BJ was going the celebrity that he dated for a while, Marissa Tomei. Exactly right. I think he had one date with Marissa Tomei, maybe two. I don't know. That is correct. And BC is saying the porn name he wanted, Buck Naked. He wanted to be known as Buck Naked. He was never a porn star, was never going to be a porn star. All right, let's move on. George is forced to live up to his marine biologist lie when this shows up. What showed up where he had to now be the marine biologist he claimed to be, but wasn't? Does anyone know what that was? George hosts this up to the apartment via a fishing pole. What was it that he was bringing up using a fishing pole into the Ross's apartment? Does anyone remember what was at the end of that fishing line? Here we go. BJ is going, the stranded whale, the beached whale made George come out. He had to become the marine biologist he claimed to be. Is anyone here a marine biologist? And George had to walk into the ocean. The sea was angry that day, my friend, like an old man sending cold soup back at a deli. Ooh, the sea was angry that day, my friend. Stranded whale, exactly right. BC is saying he was bringing up bread. BJ and Nina Frank, he was hauling up a marble rye on the end of a fishing line. That's true. It was a marble rye. What was the name of the deli, that bakery they bought that from? Does anyone know that? I don't remember it offhand. As soon as I see the name, I'll know. All right, next question. Before running out of a burning apartment, George cannot understand how a clown doesn't know this person. How do you not know this person? Does anyone know when just before George ran out of an apartment, he was talking to a clown about a famous clown? What was the name of that famous clown? The clown didn't even know who he was talking about. Without his glasses, George mistakes this for an apple. What did he eat instead of an apple? Schnitzers. That's correct. It was schnitzers. That's right. Chris remembers the golf ball in the blowhole. That's right. In that beached whale. And Schnitzers was the name of the bakery. This is a bonus question. Way to go, you guys. But BJ was going, the clown didn't know the most famous clown of all, Bozo the Clown. That's right. Bozo the Clown. He didn't even know the deli was Schnitzers. No soup for you, Chris is saying. BJ is going, he bit into an onion instead of an apple. That is right. Nina and BJ both got it. He bit into an onion. All right, more George Costanza trivia. When Jerry's girlfriend catches George undressing in the Hamptons, he explains his size because of significant what? What is George talking about? He was caught undressing in the dressing room in the Hamptons. His girlfriend, Jerry's girlfriend, saw it. He explains that his size was affected because of what? What was the key word in that sentence? It didn't take BJ's long to get this one, or Jen, or Gail, or BC. Shrinkage. It's all about shrinkage. Oh my goodness! Jerry is trying to explain to the girl, to Elaine, about shrinkage, and she goes, "It shrinks. It shrinks." He goes, "Like a scared turtle." She says, "You guys are crazy." Yes, if the pool water on the cruise ships is cold, we suffer significant shrinkage. Oh my goodness! Called shrinkage. I'm just reading all your comments. All right, let's move on to the next piece of George Costanza trivia. A machine he buys from a pizza place plays this game. He buys a machine from a pizza place that plays this game. What is the game? George often pretends to hold this job. He says he designed the addition to the Guggenheim. What profession was he talking about that he was part of? George follows a co-worker to Ohio to tell him that this store called what? He wanted to give him the insult of all time. And maybe you're from the something store. All right, let's move on. We've got the word Frogger. That is right. Frogger is the name of the game that George bought from a pizza place that they had. JRS is saying the career that he wanted to be known as all the time. He told Jerry, I want to be one of these. An architect. That is correct. He wanted to be an architect. I always wanted to be an architect, Jerry. Let me be an architect. Yes. And what store did George want to call this guy from? The Jerk Store. That is correct, BJ. You've got it. The Jerk Store. Maybe they're running out of you. The Jerk Store. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. I have a feeling that my pencil just ran out of juice. I have to use my finger from now on. Hang on, folks. My technical issues here at the TWB trivia page, but it's all working out. All right, let's move on to some more Vandelay the Architect. That's right. Here we go. Next one, George Costanza trivia. Here we go. If relationship George meets independent George will what? What will happen to independent George if independent George meets relationship George? Independent George will. What will happen to him? Moving on. Elaine throws out this object belonging to George. She throws it out the window. What was it that she was throwing out the window? Die. BJ thinks that the George will die. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's kind of similar to that, but there's a specific phrase that completed that exact phrase. Gail is thinking a wig. Yes, toupee for BC. Anina, absolutely. Toupee. She threw his toupee or wig out the window. Cease to exist. BJ, you've got it. If independence George, relationship George meets independent George will cease to exist. Jerry, we just can't have that. We can't have relationship George meet independent George. We cannot mix the two. One will cease to exist. It will cease to exist. Absolutely correct. Okay, what did George not receive that ends up with Elaine rubbing his head in her breasts? What did George not get that Elaine ended up having to rub his head in her breasts? What was it he didn't get? George schemes with Jerry all day to help Jerry pull what switch? There was a switch that they were going to work out. They worked on it all day long to figure out exactly how to make this switch work. Here we go. The nip slip Christmas card. The Christmas card. That is correct. George never got the Christmas card that showed the nip from Elaine. When Kramer took a photo of her for the Christmas card, they forgot and did not notice that there was a nip showing, and that Christmas card went out to everybody, but George didn't get one. And George said, Christmas card? I didn't get a Christmas card. How come I didn't get a Christmas card? Jerry got a Christmas card. So-and-so got a Christmas card. I didn't get a Christmas card. How come, when am I going to get my Christmas card? She said, you want a Christmas card? I'll give you a Christmas card. And she took his head and put it in her breast. George was speechless on that one. He was speechless. Jerry went like this. Alrighty. What George schemes with Jerry all day to help Jerry pull off what switch? What switch were they trying to talk about? I'd argue that's better than a Christmas card, says BJ. All right, the next one. At a car dealership, a mechanic allegedly steals this candy bar from George. What kind of candy bar did the mechanic steal from George? George says, you stole it from me, as the guy was finishing off the candy bar. What candy bar was that? A severance package, which will financially set him up for 3 months, prompt George to declare what? What did George declare after he got a big severance package to not come back? Dating sisters is the question. The answering machine tape. The Twix bar. The Twix bar is exactly what George accused the mechanic of stealing from him. The Twix bar. Waiting for the last two if they're coming in. Gregory, thank you so much. BJ is saying the summer of George. That is right. A severance package which will financially set him up for 3 months prompts George to declare the summer of George. That's exactly right. The summer of George. But there's one left, only one left, and that is George schemes with Jerry all day to help Jerry pull what switch? What were they working up? The switch was called the roommate switch. It was the roommate switch, and they were scheming all day in the diner, in the deli, how to do it. George was kind of, if you believe it, it's true. If you really believe it, Jerry, it's true. Yes. All right. Those are the George Costanza trivia notes from Seinfeld. Gregory Toomer, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate so much this. There it is right there, the $10 donation to the channel. Thank you very much. All right, are you ready for another one? Let's go for another trivia question and move on here. Try to keep you folks engaged and keep you going. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what happens here. Can I get the next question in here? Let's go. Okay, here's one for all of you that are young, old, and in between. You should all be able to answer some of these questions right here. This is not that tough. Well, it might be tough, but it's not that tough. Can you tell me the name of a musical artist? Artists, there are 25 correct answers. 25 musical artists that had the longest time between number one hits. So the last time they had a number one hit and the next time they had a number one hit, the longest time, the top 25 longest times between number one hits. What artists am I talking about on the U.S. charts? Okay. 176 thumbs up to coming in. Thank you, everybody. Troy H., you are awesome. Thank you, Troy H., so much for this donation and sticker. That is awesome. I love it. Okay, Rodney and BC are coming in with guesses. All right, let me set up my my marker here. Hang on one second, folks. I just got to get this done just right. Okay, the first guess from BC is saying Cher, and you are correct. Cher has the record for the longest time between number one hits. She had the last time she had a number one hit, her second last number one hit was Dark Lady. The next one was called Believe. The first one was in 1974. The next number one hit was in 1999. 25 years or 1,303 weeks between number one hits. That's a long time to go between number one hits. Cher is number one. Okay, Rodney is looking at Diana Ross. Diana Ross for number one hits. And I'm looking here. Diana Ross did not make the list for the longest time between number one hits. Who we got? Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole. No, didn't make the list. I know what you're thinking. No, I think you're thinking of the duet with his daughter, and I think that may have disqualified this one, but I'm not sure. Roy Orbison. What about Roy Orbison? Number one hits. As a solo artist, I don't think so. As an artist with the Traveling Wilburys, maybe. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for solo artists or groups. Aretha Franklin is the guess. Number 3 on the list. She had the number one hit in 1967 for Respect. Respect. And her next number one hit in 1987 was I Knew You Were Waiting for Me. And that is 1,037 weeks between number one hits, 20 years. So that is the first one, right? The second one right there. We've got Cher, Aretha Franklin, number 3. Elvis Presley, Bill Carroll. He's thinking Elvis Presley between number one hits. In 1962, he had Good Luck Charm. And in 1969, he had Suspicious Minds. Elvis was off the charts as number one for 392 weeks. And that comes in at around number 15 or so. 15th longest dry spell. Michael Jackson, Emily Archer. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had Ben, the hit in 1972. And then his next top hit was Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. And that made him from 72 to 79, 365 weeks, about the 13th or 14th longest streak for number one hits. Cher, we got Queen. BJ is wondering about the group Queen. Looking here. No, Queen is not on the list. Elton John, Rodney Couples, Elton John, yes. In 1976, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. And in 1992, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, the re-release, and that would be 805 weeks from 76 to 1992 for Elton John. Paul McCartney. Jan is wondering about Paul McCartney for number one hit droughts. Nope, not on the list. Tina Turner. Cynthia. What about Tina Turner, Bruce? Tina Turner, not on this list. Who else we got? Kenny Rogers. Troy, thinking about Kenny Rogers. Kenny was a prolific seller of hits, but he doesn't make this list. Tom Jones. What about Tom Jones? I once had a steam bath with Tom Jones. I made a video about me having a steam bath with Tom Jones, by the way. It's in my channel if you ever want to look for it. Tom Jones. No, he's not on this list for number one hit droughts. Santana for number one hit droughts. Looking. No, Santana is not on this list either. What about Prince? The gentleman formerly known as, and is no longer as, Prince. No, Prince doesn't make this list either. The Rolling Stones for number one hit droughts. The Rolling Stones, not on this list. Aerosmith. What about Aerosmith, Bruce? No. What about Elton John? We did Dionne Warwick. Yes. 1974, Then Came You. 1986, That's What Friends Are For. 586 weeks between number one hits. Dionne Warwick makes the list. Neil Sedaka. 1962, Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. 1975, Laughter in the Rain. Neil Sedaka had a little resurgence, 75, 76. 650 weeks between number one hits. Way to go, Neil Sedaka. He came back. Let's take a look here. I got to plug in my phone dramatically, quickly. Hurry. Okay. Who is next? Green Day, the group, I guess. Green Day, not on this list. Neil Diamond for number one hit droughts. Yes. 1972, Song Blue. 1978, You Don't Bring Me Flowers. 335 weeks off the number one chart. Neil Diamond came back. Guns and Roses, not on the top list. Madonna. But did Madonna have a long enough drought between number ones? No. Beach Boys. Yes, the Beach Boys are number two on this actual list, folks. Excuse me. The Beach Boys had a hit in 66 called Good Vibrations. Good Vibrations. 1988, Kokomo was their next number one hit. 1,143 weeks between number one hits from 66 to 1988, with a lot of songs in between that didn't hit number one. U2 is another guess. No Can Do. Billy Joel. Yes. Tell Her About It in 1983, and We Didn't Start the Fire in 1989. 324 weeks between number one hits. Billy Joel. Right on. Moving on. I'm surprised about Ben, says Emily Archer. Johnny Cash. Number one hit for Johnny Cash. Not on this chart. Ricky Nelson. What about Ricky Nelson? Did he make the gap? Not in this quiz. Let's see. Gregor Toomer saying, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Mariah Carey. Not on the list. Not yet. Anyway, Styx. Nope. Dean Martin with number one hit droughts. Not on this list either. The Beatles. No. Who else? Or let me just double check the Beatles. I don't think so. Hang on. Let me triple check the Beatles. No. Haven't got it. Neil Diamond, we did. Cyndi Lauper for number one hit droughts. No. Paul Anka. Yes, Paul Anka. Lonely Boy, 1959, and You're Having My Baby in 1974. 25 years, 785 weeks. Wow. 59 to 74. No, that's 15 years. Sorry. Yeah, 15 years between number ones. Louis Armstrong. No, not showing on this list. Barry Manilow between number ones. Nope. Mariah Carey. Chicago. Yes. Chicago. 1982. Hard to say. I'm sorry. 1988. Look Away. A total of 325 weeks for Chicago. Janet Jackson, question mark. Janet Jackson, was she on this list between number one hits? No. George Harrison, yes. George Harrison, Give My Love, Give Me Peace on Earth from 1973. And then Got My Mind Set on You in 1988. 15 years for George Harrison, 759 weeks between number ones. The Bee Gees, are they on the list? No. Frank Zappa, is he on the list? Nope. Frank Sinatra, I do not see Frank Sinatra on the list. ABBA, what about ABBA? Is ABBA on this list? No. The Supremes, are they on the list between number one hits? Nope. Celine Dion. Celine Dion? No. Tina Turner? No. The Temptations. The Temptations? No. And Jeffrey Davies. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Davies, for throwing a super chat my way. All amounts are greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Chris, Triumph. What about Triumph? Triumph, the insult comic dog. Neither, no can do. Barbara Streisand. No. Smokey Robinson. Been around a long time, but not on this list. Four Seasons. The Four Seasons between number one hits. Not on this list. Slim Dusty. Toto, no. John Lennon by chance. So how about John Lennon, number one? No. Kylie Minogue? No. Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, not here. No. Ringo Starr, another great performer, but not on this list. Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight for number ones. No can do. Van Morrison. No. Simon and Garfunkel. Barbara Streisand. No and no. The Four Seasons. Someone said the Four Seasons. I missed it. The Four Seasons. 1964 Rag Doll. 1976 December 63 Oh What a Night. That would be 607 weeks. The Four Seasons. I apologize for missing that earlier. Eminem. No. Bob Seger. No. Elton John, we did. Britney Spears. Yes, Britney Spears. 1999. Baby One More Time. 2008. Womanizer. Britney Spears, 507 weeks between number one hits. John Denver, between number one hits, not on this list. Sublime, not here. The Beatles, no. Bob Dylan. No. Sting, maybe. No, Sting, no. Let me give you some hints. This is a gentleman from the United Kingdom, single guy, a single performer. He's a male performer. He had a hit in 79, and then in 1994, he used to wear, always wears on stage tight pants. Who am I talking about? It's not Tom Jones, but he's from the UK. Backstreet Boys, Frankie Valli, Gloria Gaynor, Roy Orbison, Ed Sheeran, Luther Vandross, Tony Bennett, Dr. Hook. All of those guesses, no can do on any of those. No. Tony Bennett, Michael Jackson, we've done. Neil Young, David Bowie. Looking. Yes, David Bowie. Fame in 1975 and Let's Dance in 1983. 398 weeks. David Bowie. And Fame, of course, he had John Lennon as backup vocals. Who else? Rod Stewart. Yes. Rod Stewart is exactly who I'm looking for. Rod Stewart, Do You Think I'm Sexy in 1979? And All for Love in 1994. 777 weeks without a number one hit for Rod Stewart. Who else? Steve Winwood, Ziggy Stardust, Tom Petty, Engelbert Humperdinck, Dolly, Ray Charles. Nope, none of those. Let me move on to another guess for you. The number one hit this group had was in 1964. And it was called Do Wah Diddy. What was the name of that group? Because they had a hit in 1977. What was that group called? They had their first hit was Do Wah Diddy. Here's this guy. This is a guy. This Guy's in Love with You in 1968. That was his first hit. Then he had a second hit in 1979. Who was that artist? The Kinks, no. Manfred Mann, yes. Manfred Mann had Do Wah Diddy and Blinded by the Light in 77, 643 weeks. Blinded by the Light, one of the songs I hate the most of all time. It's a personal hate. What about The Who? Nope, The Who isn't here. What about the 1963 song called Fingertips Part 2? Then in 73, this artist had another number one hit. Who is this artist? Single artist, solo performer, but he always has a great backup band. Who am I talking about? Herb Alpert just came in. Jan, you got it. Herb Alpert, This Guy's in Love with You, and the song called Rise. 68 to 79, 588 weeks without a number one hit. Herb Alpert. Here's an artist in 2007. He had a hit that was called What Goes Around Comes Around. 2016, he had his next number one hit. Who am I talking about? Stevie Wonder just came in. That's correct. Stevie Wonder, Fingertips Part 2 and Superstition. 63 to 73, 492 weeks. No number one hit for Stevie Wonder. It came back. Shakira, Sheryl Crow. Either of those two, neither are here. Who had the hit? What Goes Around Comes Around in 2007. Justin Timberlake is coming in big time. Can't Stop the Feeling in 2016 was the next number one hit. 482 weeks. No number one songs for Justin Timberlake. He's back, baby. Who else is here? Will Smith. No. What about this artist? He had a hit in 77. His next number one hit was in 84. He's a single performer. He has a great band behind him. We just talked about this guy. Who am I talking about now? Let's see what's going on. Jay-Z, No Can Do. What about this guy? 1962, he had a hit called Sheila. 69, he had his next number one hit. Who am I talking about? Tom Petty just came in. I haven't got Tom Petty here. I've got another artist from 2002. This gal had a hit called A Moment Like This in 2002. What is her name? Burt Bacharach, Tommy Rowe. Yes, Tommy Rowe. 62 had Sheila, and in 69, Dizzy. Tommy Rowe in 69. That is correct. I'm looking for the gal who had a hit in 2002 called A Moment Like This. And I've got one more to go. This young lady had a hit in 2001 called Fallen. What is her name? The artist I'm looking for, 384 weeks off the top 10 from 77 to 84, had a hit called Sir Duke in 77. What's his name? Had a hit in 84, and it went a long time between number one hits. We've got Michelle Branch, Louis Armstrong coming in. I'm looking for a gal who had a hit called A Moment Like This. Her other hit was My Life Would Suck Without You. What is her name? Sherry, you got it. Kelly Clarkson. She went 330 weeks without a number one hit. Who am I after now? Fallen in 2001, and in 2007, the song was called No One. What is her name? Stevie Wonder just came in. That's right. Stevie Wonder twice makes this list. He went 492 weeks for the first time he wasn't without a number one hit. Then he went 384 again, 384 weeks again. Unbelievable for the longest time between number one hits. Don't forget, he had a number one hit in 73, then he had a number one hit in 77, but that 4 years doesn't make this list. The next 10 years did. Alicia Keys, that finished the quiz. Alicia Keys in 01, Fallen, and in 07, No One. And that is the list of the artists who went the longest time between number one hits. Well done, all of you, for getting that quiz down. Well done. All right, let's move on to another quiz here. Speaking of the Beatles, can you name all the Beatles songs that only have one word? Beatles songs that have one word and one word only. Anyone know one word Beatles songs? There are 19 one word Beatles songs. BJ is going, well, Yesterday, of course. Yes, the song Yesterday that came out from the Help album. Who's next? The song Help from BC. You got that one. That came out from the Help album. That is right. Anna, A-N-N-A, Anna. Nope, that's not the name of the song. I know which song you're talking about, but that's not the name of that song. Let's see. Imagine. That's John Lennon. That's not the Beatles. We have Yesterday coming in. Here we go. The song called Girl, BC. Girl, that's correct. Rubber Soul is where that song came from. BC, the song Michelle. Yep, Michelle Maybell on the Rubber Soul album. Sherry Haynes, Something. That came out on Abbey Road, written by George Harrison. That is correct. Julia, Cynthia, one of my favorite songs. Julia on the White Album. John Lennon wrote that one. Very good. Who else? Misery, the song Misery, Please Please Me is the name of the album. The name of the song is Misery. That is correct. Another one off the top here. We are getting them. There are a bunch of one-word Beatles songs out there. JRS Jan is thinking the song Flying. It's an instrumental from the Magical Mystery Tour. That is correct. Art Guy, what about Revolution, Bruce? Yes. Hey, Jude, the B-side, Revolution. Janie T, what about the song Birthday? That is correct. The song Birthday from the White Album. That's another one. Blackbird, another one-word song. The Beatles' White Album. Paul McCartney plays that to this very day. Eleanor Rigby is 2 words. Because. The song Because. That one is Abbey Road, and it is a one-word song. There it is. Let's go further here. Yellow Submarine, 2 words. Chris is laughing out loud. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 to go. We have 7 to go. A couple from Please Please Me, one from Long Tall Sally, one from Rubber Soul, another one from Paperback Writer, the B-side. It was the first video that the Beatles made, I think was this song, or one of the first videos they made, and they sent it to Ed Sullivan rather than show up in person. And this song is from Revolver, and the last one is from the White Albums. It's a George Harrison composition. Here we go. The song Taxman. That is correct. Taxman was on Revolver. That was a George Harrison song. The song Boys from Please Please Me. Correct. Flying, we got Mine. No. Chains from Please Please Me. That's right. Chains. Piggies. That's right. That's the White Album. That is a George Harrison song. Piggies. We're now down to only 3 to go. We have one from Long Tall Sally. It was sung by Ringo, I believe. One word. And the song Rain from Paperback Writer B-side. Correct. The song Rain was a Revolver song. That, I think, also was a Revolver song. That's true. Wait. That's correct. Wait. Rubber Soul. That leaves us 1 to go. Unbelievable, you guys. Birthday Carol, Misery. We've got them all except for one song left, sung by Ringo on the Long Tall Sally LP. Starts with the letter M, but it's not Misery. It ends in the letter X. The word ends in X, starts with M. Could be confused with a 2-word word, but it's really one long word. Not that long a word. Nope. Anybody have think Minx? Oh, you're trying. Matchbox. Matchbox is the name of the song from Long Tall Sally. Those are all the Beatles one-word songs that were released by the Beatles. We're talking Boys, Chains, Misery, Matchbox, Help, Yesterday, Girl, Michelle, Wait, Rain, Taxman, Flying, Revolution, Birthday, Blackbird, Julia, Piggies, Because, and Something. Those were the Beatles songs, one word only. Unbelievable. Leaving us with one last quiz for the day. And I want to say again, thank you, all of you who've been here. 103 are still here. Diehards, love you guys. Thank you for your support of my channel. Thank you for those of you giving my thumbs up, video thumbs ups, this show thumbs ups, all my videos thumbs ups. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for these super chats and sticker donations. So appreciated. Love you guys for that. Thank you very much. All right. Are you ready for the last one? Here it is. I can't believe we got them all. Good job, says BJ. All right. Here's your last one. The last quiz of the night. Tell me the biggest hits from Tom Petty's career. Tom Petty's biggest hits, the top 20 hits of his career. Tom Petty and Heartbreakers, Tom Petty, any way you want to go. This also includes songs sung with other artists. And let's see what we get. Here we go. They're coming in 185 thumbs ups. Thank you, guys. This is fun. Bruce says, Chris, American Girl. Yes, BJ, American Girl, definitely one of his number one hits. Absolutely. Who's next here? We've got Falling. I'm trying to find it. I'm not finding the word only falling. We'll keep looking. Let's see. Refugee. BC is going Refugee. Yes, a number 8 hit number 15 in 1980. What am I? The Waiting. Yes, 1981 release, hit number 1. Breakdown, set 1978, hit number 40 in the charts, believe it or not. But we all know that song, don't we? You have 189 thumbs up, says Emily. Thank you. Last Dance with Mary Jane. Excuse me. Yes, that is another big hit. Mary Jane's Last Dance is what it's actually called. 1994, hit number 1. Let's go here. Breakdown. Yeah, baby. Breakdown. Looking for Breakdown. It's a hit. Continue on. Free Fallen, number 1 in 1990. I Won't Back Down, 1989, number 1 hit. Free Fallen, we've done. Moving on. Stop Dragging My Heart Around with Stevie Nicks. Number 2 hit, 1981. Absolutely. Wildflowers, the song Wildflowers. I'm not showing on this chart. Knocking on Heaven's Door. Knocking on Heaven's Door. Not showing it in this chart. Hey Bruce, you gotta be on later. It says David. Here Comes My Girl. Here Comes My Girl. Not showing. Yes, here it is. 1980. It was a top hit in 1980. All I Want Is You. Not showing it. Don't Do Me Like That. 1980, number 10 hit. You Don't Know How It Feels. 1995, number 1 hit. Learning to Fly. 1991, a number 1 hit. Don't Do Me Like That. You Don't Know How It Feels. It'll All Work Out. Not showing that one. I Won't Back Down. We got a Free Fallen. A Face in the Crowd. Love that song. 1990, A Face in the Crowd. Crystal River. Not showing it. You Got Lucky, Babe. 1983. Absolutely. You're Killing Me. Not showing that one. You Got Lucky. Wildflowers. Coming up again. Not showing it. Looking for a song from 85, one from 89, one from 87, 83, 86, 78, and 85. Keep looking. Wildflowers. Into the Great Wide Open. I love that song. Love the long version of that song. Into the Great Wide Open. I'm not showing that one on this list, but I love that song so much. Don't Come Around Here Anymore. Yes, Don't Come Around Here No More. 1985, hit number 2. That's another one gone off this list. Breakdown, we've done already. Continuing on, let's see here. American Girl. And waiting for a couple of more, about 4 or 5 more, if any more coming. Let's see here. American Girl. Let's go here. The first word of this 4-word song is running. The first word is running. What is the name of this song? The first word of this song came out in 83 is the word change. What's the name of that song? Let's go here. Running Down a Dream. There it is. We got it. Running Down a Dream. End of the Line is not what I'm looking for. 1986. The first, it's a duet with the Heartbreakers and Stevie Nicks. The second collaboration from 86. First word, Needles. What's the name of that song? Highly suggest listening to Eddie Vedder singing the Waiting for Tom Petty on guitar. It's amazing. Handle with Care. It's Good to Be King. Great songs as well. Good to Be King. That's another good one. Handle with Care. That's with the Traveling Wilburys. So that's not in this category. What's another one here? 1985, first couple words, make it. What's the rest of that song's name? Heather and Lace. It just came in. Nope, not looking for that one. Looking for the song Needles. And then 2 words behind that. You're so bad. You're so bad. Love that song. Dream. Still waiting here. Yeah, Dream. Running down a Dream. We've got it already. Listen to the Heart. Not here. And Pins. Yes. Needles and Pins with Stevie Nicks, 1986. That's another one gone. Running a Dream. We've got it. Waiting for a song in 87. I love the opening of the guitar. It's just chords. It's da 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 bang bang da da bang bang da da. Does that sound familiar? Da 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 da. I wonder if that helps any of you guys. Every time I try to make these songs come alive, I get teased. So I don't do it too often. Love that song. It's only 2 words. Starts with the letter J. The first word is J. Starts with a J. No, it doesn't. Laugh out loud. Ain't love strange? I need to know. I need to know. That's correct. That's another one from 1978. Change of Heart came in 83. Make It Better, Forget About Me came in 85. Leaves us the last song. It had the words Joe Piscopo in there. I'm trying to give this one away. I'm so bad with vocals and the vocals on these songs. Da 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 da. Square One, no. Debbie's having fun listening to me humming it. Let's see. It's almost like a rap style. He's almost rapping the vocals on this, but he's singing it. You're jamming me. You're jamming me. Da 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 da. Jamming me is the last one. I had to give it away. Thank you for playing all these quizzes tonight and tolerating my humming and slapping my fingers. The songs are Stop Dragging My Heart Around, Free Fallin', Don't Do Me Like That, I Won't Back Down, Don't Come Around Here No More, You Don't Know How It Feels, You Got Lucky, Refugee, Mary Jane's Last Dance, Running Down a Dream, Jammin' Me, The Waiting, Change of Heart, Learning to Fly, Breakdown, Needles and Pins, I Need to Know, A Face in the Crowd, Make It Better, Forget About Me, Here Comes My Girl. Those were the songs, the top 20, according to Billboard, for Tom Petty and Heartbreakers and guests. Guys, thank you for being here for this show and tolerating it. I hope you enjoyed trivia. I love doing it. We'll do another one next week. And in the meantime, we'll keep on top of the cruise news and see what's going on out there and stay on top of what's happening. Thank you again, everybody, for supporting this channel every way you guys do it. I love the thumbs ups. See them up there. Thank you for thumbs ups. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining my Facebook group page. Thank you for Instagramming with me and also your support on my RedBubble store. Love it. I can't thank you enough. And of course, these donations that come in from time to time, these super chats. Thank you all so much. The ad rates are plummeting these days. Thank you, everybody. Love it. Looking forward to the next release. Whenever more news comes out on the cruise world, I'll bring it to you. I'm still stuck with going live, trying to make the live shows better if at all possible to make it more tolerable. Thank you for being here today. And in the meantime, stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy out there. Take care of yourselves and watch your social distancing every way you can, because that virus is looking for guests to live in. Not good stuff. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time from Creston, British Columbia, the home of TWB Traveling with Bruce. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.